So these are the cards we're going to be making today. I'm so excited to share this with you guys. So check it out. You press the words and the lights light up behind the raven. It is so cool. Oh. Okay, hold that. There we go. There's the right spot. So this cool fortune teller card, just perfect for Halloween. This is using the new Raven stamp set. It's very Edgar Allan Poe. And besides that, we're using a couple other things today. We're also using the new Snow Globe Shaker domes for that awesome dome. These come in a set of 10. They're awesome. This is not a traditional use of it. There's some other really cool Christmas stuff, but I absolutely love those. We're going to be using this wonderful embossing folder that has the trees and blinking on the name of it, because that's how things go. So we're using that. Details in the video description. We're going to be using a sheet that is 3 3/4 by 5 for our front in basic gray, and also 2 sheets underneath that's the exact same measurement in Whisper White. Let me write that down. I should have written it before. So 5 by 3 3/4. That is really hard to read, so sorry about that. But we'll go over the measurements again in a minute. So we're going to be using Whisper White, basic gray. For our card base, we're going to be using just a nice base in the basic black. So very, very simple tone colors. For our foil, I actually use the champagne foil. We also have silver. It's kind of a personal preference, and copper and gold, so you could do this any number of colors, but I thought the champagne was a little less bright than the silver, so I used a little bit for that little detail. We're also going to be using, I've got too many things out, okay, the Still Scenes, the Snow Globe Scenes dies to cut out our hole for our window and for our, get in the frame, and for our base pieces. This set also has some other really nice Christmas stuff, and it coordinates with the Still Scenes stamp set if you want to buy those together as a bundle and save. But we're not using the stamp set in this video, but I did want you to be aware that it exists. But we're just going to be using these 3 pieces in a minute. Our ink color today is Memento, good old tuxedo black. We're also going to be using basic black Stampin' Blends. This is how we're going to color our dome in a minute and kind of give it that hidden look. We're going to be using some Stampin' Dimensionals and foam adhesive strips to give us some little depth. Glue, using the multi-purpose mono liquid glue, good old Tombow. And I also used a little bit of the fine tip glue pen for adhering that detailed piece to the back. But if you don't have this, you can use this. It's just a little messier. Definitely going to be using some paper snips today. There is fussy cutting. I'm sorry for those that don't like fussy cutting, but there's fussy cutting in this card. And all right, and that's all of our card basics. For our light up components, we're going to be yet again using the amazing Chibitronic LED sticker lights that I am in love with because they're amazing. This set is actually from the Tropical Lights. It includes purple, green, and orange. So, well, purple or pink. They call it pink, but I think it looks more purple. So you can do this exact same card with any of the other lights in here. There's 10 each of each color. Okay. Besides that, we're also going to be using some good old Chibitronics copper tape and a battery. Where's my little, well, a very tiny little battery. I'm trying to find the case that I had it in. Oh, here it is. There we go. A 3 volt 1220. You can get them in a whole pack. You just need one. And this size is really awesome for cards, height-wise, and it's not too heavy. All right. So I think that covers everything. If I forgot anything, and as always, all the product direct links are going to be in the description of the video. So let's go ahead and get started making this awesome card. All right. So you're going to have your standard card base. We'll go ahead and fold that, stick that off to the side. We only need one of these examples sitting out, so let me put that one away. All right, so you're going to take your piece of basic gray, cut yet again at 5 by 3 3/4, and I will write it bigger so you can see that. There we go. Alright, so you're going to take that and you're run it through your embossing folder. Woodlands. This is the Woodlands embossing folder. I knew it would come to me in a minute. It doesn't matter which direction. They both work the same, and depending on which side you want to do, it'll have a little bit of a different look, whether you want to do the raised trees or the seated trees. But you're going to run it through the embossing folder. Actually, wrong order. Sorry. You're going to cut it out first. You're going to cut out that shape first, and then run it through the embossing folder. Here I am trying to talk quickly, so this video is shorter, and I'm messing up my order. Alright, so cut the hole. After you cut the hole, then you're going to run it through your embossing machine of choice. Just like that. Okay, and then you're going to come out looking just like that, ready to go. You're also going to go ahead and cut out, using your base shape and your detailed shape, a piece in that basic black. Let me scoot up, make sure I'm in the frame here. Basic black, and then also your detailed piece in that silver. I went ahead and glued it just to save time, but you can go ahead and cut those out too at the same time. And that is all our die cutting. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and grab one of these amazing snow globe shaker domes. These things are awesome. I've got a bazillion other ideas I'm going to do with these. What's so cool about them is they have an adhesive tape on both sides, so it is super duper duper easy to put them in this little hole and be ready to go. But of course we don't want it to be clear, because then that kind of hides the magic of this card. So I'm going to take my basic black Stampin' Blend, and what's great about these is they dry super duper fast. So I'm just going to flip my little dome over and hold it, and I'm just going to take my blend and just do little streaky lines back and forth in there. No, it's a little squeaky. And I also like to go all the way around the edge and color that inner lip. Also kind of just helps frame it out a little. Go. I'm just kind of doing layers back and forth. Now you don't want to do it solid, because you do want some of that to go through. And you could also do other color blends if you wanted to give it a little more mysterious color pop. Alright, so you see, just kind of look like that. I'm actually gonna switch to my small side here. Give it some thinner lines. Now if you don't have the basic black, you could also do this with the gray marker as well, or some of the other colors. Alright, so that's pretty good. So as I said, you don't want it to be solid, but you want to just give it a nice kind of streaky black look. And it's going to go. And you're going to take the dome and you're going to put it underneath the paper, and that hides that lip, just like that. Alright, so I'm going to take that little backing piece off. Nope, I'm not doing that yet. See, yet again, I'm getting in a hurry and getting out of order. Alright. We're going to take our piece of Whisper White and we're going to lay it underneath. Alright, I'm just going to talk slower and not try to be in a hurry. Alright, take a pencil, doesn't matter what, and we're just going to draw that shape. Now you do want to line this up corner to corner so it's nice and straight, and this will tell us exactly where that window is when we draw our circuit here in a minute. So I'm going to stick that off to the side. Now I can put my dome on, because that is a little trickier to eyeball once it's on. Alright, and we just need to pull off that top piece, and then we're just going to take it and just lay it right on top, just like there. Okay, and for this card, we don't need to take off that back piece. Alright, so now we're done with that part. And I'm going to go ahead and add my little piece underneath. You could do it later, but why not? Just do it now. So take my little foam adhesive little dimensionals and just stick a couple on the back. And this kind of gives a little pop, so it just kind of looks a little better with the dome sticking out. It's like that. Those off. And just you want to line it straight against that edge all the way up. Get a little press. All right, so now we have our fortune teller ball ready to go. Now also on a separate sheet of Whisper White, you're going to want to stamp your images. Now we're going to stamp the words wishing you a delightfully haunted night. We're going to stamp one of the feathers. And we're going to stamp that amazing raven. Now the set also comes with a stick. So you can stamp him on the branch or just solo. For this card, I went ahead and put him on the branch just to kind of give it a little different look. But you can really do either, and it's also a matter of how much fussy cutting you want to do, because I also cut around that branch. For some of the others, I just cut around the bird. All right, take that to the side. Okay. Besides cutting these two pieces out, I also gave it a little bit of a sponge around the edge with my Memento and just a basic Stampin' sponge, which that's an optional thing, but I kind of thought it gave it a little bit more pop. And then cut that out using the circle dies, or if you have the retired 1 3/4 inch punch, that fits that really well as well. Okay. Then let's just go ahead and glue that feather on, and then we will stick it off to the side. Liquid glue. Of course, the one I grab is empty. You don't need to glue the whole thing, but I kind of liked having the little accent on the bottom, so I just did a little bit of glue right at the bottom of the feather. Scoot over a little bit. There we go. Alright, so now we have that piece cut. After you cut out your bird, you're going to want to, yes, fussy cut him out. Alright, and then after you have that, we're going to grab our piece that we did our nice outline on, and we're going to lay our bird down. Now this is going to give us an idea of where he's going to sit when the card is finished. So, and also where we're going to put those lights in a minute. So I'm going to go ahead and put him down where I want him. Let's see, maybe a little over, get a little bit of that branch. Here we go. Okay. And you don't have to do an exact perfect trace, but you do want to trace the bird so you know exactly where he's going to be. Okay, so I've got his head right here. And we will be erasing these guidelines in a minute, so if it's not perfect, it's fine. Hopefully these are dark enough you guys can see in a second. Okay. Alright, hopefully that shows up good. But connect his beak. There we go. So there is my raven, and actually I want to get where that tail is. Okay. Alright, so now we've got our bird outline, we've got our pieces all cut. Now it is time for some light up card magic. So we're going to take just a scrap, it doesn't really matter what color, I just happen to have a very vanilla scrap sitting right here. And we're going to go ahead and cut that about 1 by 2-ish. And we're going to make our holder for our battery. We're just going to take that little scrap and fold it in half. And as I said, it doesn't matter what color, whatever you have lying around, it's going to be totally hidden, so it doesn't really matter. All right, we're going to take that, and we're going to kind of eyeball where we want our push button to be. Now that is where we're going to want to put this cute little piece. So I'm thinking like right in here, so that looks pretty good. All right. So once you have it where you want it, we're going to go ahead and glue it down. Now just the bottom flap. Just like that. Okay, and for this example, the mouth of it is to open to the right, so open like that. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and draw out my circuit lines. I'll try to do them nice and dark so you guys can see them. So we're going to have our battery sitting right here. Do a nice big circle. Okay, that is the negative side, and then the positive side is going to touch right over here. Okay. And on most of these little batteries, you'll see a positive or negative sign, so you can kind of keep those straight. For this one, the words are on the positive side, so. All right, I'm going to draw our lines. Now for this one, I actually am not going to be cutting the tape in half, so you might actually see some of that tape poking through. If you personally want to cut it in half and have it thinner so it's less likely to show, you can. I just personally have not had a ton of luck with that. So it's a little even more tedious to work with when it's super tiny. So I don't mind. It's kind of hidden anyway with the way that is. So that, and then we're going to go this way, just like that. Yet again, reminder, this is positive, this is negative. Okay. All right, so besides having our basic circuit lines mapped out, and hopefully my sketch is not just super messy, but I think you guys can see that okay. All right, so we're going to also figure out where we want to put our cute little batteries. And handy tip, I know Chibitronic sells little guides for your light ups, but you can actually just take the little plastic that's wrapped around them and use this as a guide for the size that you need for your lights. A little cheaper, a little easier. So I'm going to do 3 lights on this one. You can do just 1, but it won't be as bright, or 2, but I really like 3. So I'm going to do 1 right here by his feet, 1 up here by the wing, and 1 up here by the head. I found that those tend to be some of the better spots for that. So I'm just going to use this little handy guide and do a little trace where I want to put my sticker. So I may have to adjust my line a little bit right there, but that's okay. All right, so that's sticker 1. And also on these, the little point of the sticker is the negative side. So I want to keep my point of my stickers to this, touching this line. All right, then we're going to do another one right here. Peel off. Hopefully you guys can see that okay. So second one, and then our last one, as I said, up towards the head. Okay, that'll give me a good rough idea of where I'm putting my little stickers. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and grab that fun copper tape and lay out our circuit. Scrap off, there we go. Okay. So we're just going to start with 1 line at a time. Just peel that back and stick it down. If I cover up my little positive and negative, I'll just write on the side here. Here we go. All right. Now, if you're doing a corner, the best way to do the corner is you want to pull the tape in the opposite way that you want to go. So I want it to go up that direction. So I need to pull it back and down. Give it a little press with the back side of the tape to kind of make that point, and then I'm going to pull it back up and it'll fold in on itself. Keep going. All right, and so here I want to go to the kind of up and to the right, so I'm going to pull it the opposite way down to the left. Yet again, give it a little press, and then turn it and fold it. And I may adjust my sticker layout, but it's more of just an idea. All right, and this tape is so thin that you can actually just break it with your finger. Okay, I don't want to break it past the bird. There we go. All right. We're going to go ahead and do the other side. Okay, so this one I want to go up. So I'm going to pull the tape down, give it a little press, and back up. And I need to kind of turn it a little bit more for that kind of angle, so I'm going to do it one more time. Down, press, and back up. Yeah, that line's going to show a little bit, but I don't mind. All right, and then yet again we want to go up and to the right. Let me get this scrap out of the way. So we're going to pull it to the opposite direction. We'll press, and back. Okay, hopefully I don't have my lines too close. All right, and then either just use your fingernail or bone folder, just give your lines a nice little press. Make sure you've got good contact, but be careful about this bump right here for the back of this fold. You don't want it to be too tight that it rips. It's pretty much going to be pretty much closed, but just be careful, especially at this step, to make sure that that is not so snug or that doesn't rip. All right, now we've got our lines all good. Now we're going to go ahead and grab our cute little lights. Now for this one I'm going to make a green light up, but as I said, you could do orange or purple with this as well. So we're just going to carefully peel it off and stick it down. Last one. Okay. You also want to give it a nice little press on both ends of your light, just right on top of that metal. You don't want to press in the center, but just on top of the metal on each of them, just to make sure it has good contact. And then we're going to go ahead and grab our battery and test it and cross our fingers that I did it right for the video. And woo! Okay, so we've got 2 out of the 3, so we know our lines are good. Let's just give this guy an extra little press. There we go. Okay, there he goes. So now we know that our little lights will twinkle when we close it. Awesome, awesome. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and adhere our battery. So I'm going to grab those foam adhesive strips, and I'm just going to cut off tiny little pieces. You don't need a lot. We're just doing tiny little strips. And we're going to make a little nest for our battery. Just going to lay it around. And it does not matter if you end up putting it over the copper tape, it won't affect it. Okay. Go. And before you take the top off, you do want to give it another test to make sure that it didn't slide as you were putting those adhesive strips in. This could be a little snugger. No, it's okay. All right. So we're good. After you like where you have it placed, they're going to kind of peel those backings off. All right, make sure that battery is all the way down, and then just lightly press it shut. You don't want to smush those. You want to just give it a light press. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and give it one more test. Awesome. If your little lights are not twinkling, do check those lines, check the connections, and also make sure that your battery is not upside down. Believe me, it happens. All right, so now we have our lights working, lineup is good. I'm going to go ahead and erase my lines. Now our crystal fortune ball will kind of hide our lines a bit, but this is just going to help a little bit here. Okay. I don't need to worry about anything below the window hole because you're not going to see it. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and take my Raven and figure out exactly where I'm placing it on top of my lines. And you can kind of test and kind of see where the lights are going to be shining. I think that's pretty awesome. All right, so I think that's about where I'm going to put it. And I'm going to grab just some more, yet again, tiny pieces of that foam adhesive strip. Now this, I do want to caution you, don't go crazy with how many pieces of the foam adhesive strip you use for this part, because depending on where you put it, it will actually block the light. So you don't want to necessarily build a wall around either side of your lights, because it'll affect the flow of it popping out. So less is more, but you do want to be sure that that Raven is not going anywhere. So I did one earlier and was like, why is it not so bright? Why are my lights not twinkling? I take it apart and I'm like, oh, I use way too many foam adhesive strips, so don't do what I did. All right, so actually between those lines works to be pretty good. All right, so we can just do a little test here. There we go. See how that looks. Oh, yeah, see, perfect. You can't even tell. Okay, I don't need that last piece. Then we're going to take those off and carefully lay our Raven on top, yet again kind of paying attention to where we wanted it, and he was like right here, wasn't he? Yeah. Okay, a little press. Alright, there we go. And if you want, you can cut some of this extra off. This is actually a really big piece that I cut. I didn't really need that much. Go. So now we have our card background done. I'm going to go ahead and grab my front piece and lay it on top and see how it looks. Ready, guys? So my button looks like it's, oh, and maybe up a little higher than I wanted. It's like right there. All right, but I think that looks awesome. What do you think? And so when you're looking at this part, if you don't like how you did the lines, or if you want to add some more, now would be a good time. But if you're good with it, as I think that's pretty awesome, we're going to go ahead and grab some more of those foam adhesive strips and attach the top to the underside. Do one right there. One across there. If you want, you could also put on the sides as well. All right, I'm just going to peel it off. And line it up corner to corner. If you have any that's peeking through, you can always trim off the white if it's showing around the edge. All right. Yep, see, like I did not line that up straight because I was not looking where I should be. But here we go, just a simple pair of scissors. Trim that off. Nobody will be the wiser. Now you may be wondering, well, why don't you just do it on the black? I actually did one on just the black card base, and it actually did not reflect as well because the black kind of absorbed the light. So that's why I have the background light up piece in white, in case anybody was wondering, or if I get a message about that later. So, all right, here we go. Ta-da! All right, so now we're going to go ahead and attach our little sentiment. I'm going to grab another dimensional and just stick it underneath, because this one's going to be kind of overlapping my words. I'm just going to use one. Alright, so the button is like right here on this one. So I'm going to do one more foam strip right about where that light push is. It's right there. Yeah, right there. So you can kind of move your words around to where it's centered. There we go. Ta-da! Awesome. Now all we need to do is attach this to our card base. Just grab a little bit more of that liquid glue. Glue it straight down. And then our other piece that we mentioned earlier, is just going to be an extra one for the inside because it is really hard to write a note on black. So it's just so you can write a note later. Unless you happen to have a white gel pen or something, but there we go. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video tutorial. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And for direct product links to this, all the things shared in the video, do see the video description below. If you liked this light up card, you may want to check out some of the other ones that I have on my channel as well. Thanks guys for watching. Have a wonderful, happy Halloween. Bye.